Okay. Welcome back, travelers, to an all new video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Steph, and I love giving people travel advice on all things Peru so that they can travel safely and have amazing memories. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing my ayahuasca experience, and in my last video, I shared my cambo experience, which is another shamanic practice. So if you have not had a chance to see that video and you're interested, I'll link it up here somewhere for you to go and watch as well. But today's video is all about my ayahuasca experience that I had back in December 2023. And as I'm filming this video today, it's August 9th, 2024. So it's been a while and I don't remember it all off the top of my head. My memories are kind of vague at this point because I have lived through so many things since then. But I'm going to do my best to share the most important stuff for those of you interested in this practice. And before I get into that video though, I'm gonna go on a little tangent and share some things. So it's still winter-ish in Lima, and I decided to come up here on the roof of where I'm living at to film this video because downstairs is kind of busy right now. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go upstairs. And right now, for whatever reason, I have been blessed with sunshine, and it's so sunny and bright out here that it's really hard to open my eyes. I feel like I'm squinting at the camera, and it really reminds me of the days when I used to film my videos back when I first started YouTube at my grandma's, and she had this big patio thing that I would film in front of. I recently watched a part of an old video of mine to look up some information for a traveler that messaged me on Instagram, and to kind of redirect them to that video. Anyway, the point is, it reminded me of those days, and I feel like I'm low-key kind of reliving that right now because I'm like, oh, the days of being out on the open space with all the sunshine and the planes flying over my head distracting me and interrupting me. So hopefully the planes flying over my head isn't too distracting today. I do have this mic, so hopefully this works to cancel out any unnecessary noise. Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this jacket thing off, this sweater off, because it's getting hot up in here. I thought it was gonna be cold because there's a lot of wind that circulates through this terrace, but I don't know. Now I'm starting to sweat, so I just wanted to share that real quick for those of you who have been following me and have seen my progression from when I first started my videos till now. I kind of look back on those videos and I'm like, oh, cringe. Baby Steph doing her best to talk in front of the camera, scared out of her mind. And here I am today. And I'm kind of pushing through that all over again in a way because um, I really wouldn't be in front of a camera if I didn't have any reason to be. But here I am. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be connecting with you guys after so long. That combo video that I posted recently is a video that I edited and had ready to go months ago back in 2023. But because I got busy with life and everything I had going on, which I'll one day share more in depth, potentially, we'll see. I just had to kind of keep that video in the drafts for some other day. And I finally posted it last week. And here I am today. And I just want to share that, I'm going to do my best to post once a week. And I have a whole content calendar that I've been working on these last few weeks since I posted my update video. If you want to check that video out for whatever reason, I'll link it up here somewhere. But yeah, since posting that update video, I've just been busy doing my best to work through fears and insecurities of mine around showing up online. Yeah, you guys know I'm a crybaby at this point. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I just feel like it takes a lot for me to be on the internet. And I feel like in recent years, it takes a lot of courage and strength to come online because things can go viral and people can, misjudge you, criticize you for the stupidest thing. I get criticized all the time on YouTube, but it's being willing to push through that and to face your fears and let people think what they want of you and being secure in who you are. And that is such a journey. And yeah, I'm here today and I'm really proud, and I'm gonna keep doing my best to come online and share valuable information with all of you that's gonna really help you on your journeys. I just want really everyone to have a really lovely experience of my country and to have a deeper understanding of the culture, the people, the history here. So, yeah, I'm pushing through because I want to make a positive impact. And I just really appreciate all of you that have been here with me since the beginning, especially, with my cringy videos where I just felt like such an imposter back in the day. And I still do on some level, but, you know, I have to keep affirming the fact that I know a lot of stuff here about Peru that can really be valuable, to people, and just keep being strong in that, and keep doing my best and understand that it's not about perfection, it's about doing your best. And yeah, just, um, doing things one day at a time, one step at a time. And I don't know, before you know it, you'll have something beautiful to show for it. So the beautiful thing that I want to show for my efforts online is just to really make a positive impact in the lives of people who want to travel to my country, and to just, help make their experiences that much safer and that much more amazing. So, I don't know. I said a little prayer before I started recording this video, and I just asked God. I don't have a religion, but I believe in God. I believe in a superior uh, energy or force or consciousness. And I just ask God to guide me and show me what it is I'm meant to share today in this video in regards to ayahuasca. And somehow I got off on this tangent of remembering back in the days and somehow sharing a little bit about my challenges as an online content creator. But I guess that's what, God wanted me to share today. Is it's not always easy showing up online and putting yourself out there. But, you know, you just got to do your best and face your fears, and not let people dim your light. And that's what I think overcoming in this journey. And I'm grateful to all of you who support me in this process and who see the best in me. And I always cry in these videos, I don't know why. um I don't know, part of me wants to clip all of this out because I'm like, it's not necessary and it has nothing to do with the topic. And I get criticized a lot for like talking too much on this channel by people who, I don't know, are not nice. But it came out for a reason, and I trust in the divine plan, and I'm gonna leave it and just let you hear me out and let you receive my vulnerability however you receive it. It's not up to me to judge how you receive it. It's up to you to see what you do with it. And I just hope it inspires you in some kind of way to be brave and to overcome whatever it is that maybe you're afraid of. So, without any more delays, thank you for being patient with me with this really long intro. It's like 9 minutes into this video, but I'm finally going to get into my story. I was hoping to make this video, 20 to 30 minutes long. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the end, since I took like almost 10 minutes of your time. All right. So I want to share more about my ayahuasca experience. Um, I had an experience back in 2016 in which one of my, subscribers, Jimmy, who has become my friend since then, he was coming to Peru, and I put him in touch with a friend of mine at the time that was a travel planner, so that they could arrange their trip for them, because I wasn't really doing those kinds of things before. I am going to be helping people plan trips and stuff in the near future. So reach out to me on Instagram if you want support with that. But um, yeah, I put Jimmy in touch with my friend who arranged this whole trip, and Jimmy really wanted to have an experience of like shamanic things like ayahuasca and stuff. So my friend organized that for him, and I was invited to accompany Jimmy along his travels and just keep him safe and, you know, translate as necessary or whatever. So that was a really wonderful experience. And you know, Jimmy, if you're still watching this video, I'm sending you lots of love, and I still remember you. And one day I'll visit you in Las Vegas. But yeah, I accompanied Jimmy, and you know, Jimmy offered me the opportunity to do these things with him because he didn't want to do them alone. And at the time, I was like, okay, you paying? Why not? Like, it's not coming out of my pocket, so if it's free. um, so yeah, and we had this experience where I was told that the substance that I was ingesting was something called jurema or jurema. It's Jurema. And I was told it was very similar to ayahuasca or whatever. It was just like, at the time, I was told it was the masculine form of ayahuasca because ayahuasca is like a feminine kind of energy. So that's what I was told at the time. I don't know. And yeah, we went with these Belgian shamans, actually. These Belgians who had spent a lot of time in the rainforest with certain shamans, studying under them or whatever, and they held our ceremony for us. And in that ceremony, they applied kambo to Jimmy, which I believe I mentioned in my kambo video. Um, and in 2016, you know, when we went through that experience, and I saw Jimmy, you know, purge in such an extreme way with kambo, that's when I was like put off with kambo, and I was like, I'm not ever gonna do that. But then last year, I felt called to do kambo for the first time to face my fears in certain ways. So I did that, and then we did the yurema or whatever that drink was called, and that was an intense experience. And so if you guys want to hear more about that experience, I can share it with you in another video. But today I want to talk about my ayahuasca experience because supposedly they were two different things. And so I did ayahuasca, I guess, technically for the first time in December 2023. And to be honest, these shamanic things have never really spoken to me. It's never really been my jam. It's never been really something that I've looked for. Um, just because I just really didn't resonate with those kinds of practices. And in the past, when I was more arrogant, more ego centered, I used to kind of look down on those practices, especially as a person who's been walking this like spiritual or new age spiritual path since 2017. Um, Back in the day, when I still had all of this ego that I was working through, I kind of looked down on those like older indigenous practices because, again, I'm an Aquarius. I think more about the future, technology, advancement, those kinds of things. So whatever's like new and modern really spoke to me, and the ways of healing that I was practicing at the time felt, in my ego filled mind at the time, like superior in a way. And I just felt like that stuff's kind of outdated, in the same way that you would look at the old rotary phones, you know, with the cables, and you would pick it up and you would turn the thing to dial a number versus a cell phone today. Like, in my mind, it was just kind of like, no, you know, modern day cell phones, smartphones are better than those ancient phones. And as I worked through a lot of stuff, and God has humbled me and has helped me release a lot of my own crap, I've really seen the tremendous value in preserving these traditional practices and in sometimes having those experiences ourselves if we feel called to do them. And so I think these ancient indigenous practices and ways of healing are beautiful, but I'm not going to actively seek them unless I feel called to them in some kind of way. And a lot of people will say that when it's your time to do ayahuasca, I will call you to it. all of a sudden things will pop up for you to kind of investigate a little bit more and look into that. And maybe you'll talk to someone who's had an Aya experience, or maybe you'll like come across a video that talks about Aya experiences and stuff, or ceremonies. So, when it's your time, it's your time. And I guess last year I did Kambo in August 2023. And I just kind of kept feeling a pull, and I would kind of get messages. I feel like God sends me messages in various ways to kind of connect more to ancestral, indigenous wisdom and ways of healing and stuff. Oh my God, my phone is moving because the wind here is strong, people. The phone's like, trying to hold on for dear life onto this tripod. Now I got to hold it with my feet so the phone doesn't blow over. But anyway, so I felt called to just be more open to these kinds of things, and to just see where, I guess, my ancestors were leading me in a way. And one day I was scrolling on Instagram, and I happened to see an ad for some Aya ceremonies. And I had seen a few, but I saw one that for whatever reason I just decided to really read through. And I really connected with the words of the facilitator that was organizing this whole experience. And I reached out, I asked for more info. He sent me a link to a podcast that he had done on Aya that was like 2 hours long. So I decided to listen to it. And, I just felt like, okay, I connect with the energy of this person, and I vibe with what they're saying in this podcast. And maybe I need to do this. Maybe it's my time to finally do this kind of thing. And, the irony with that is that, I don't know, maybe like a month before or something like that, I got into a whole argument with my partner because my partner wanted to gift me like a stay at an Aya retreat center in the jungle. And I got really mad because, like I said, it's not something that I necessarily want or look for. And I just felt upset that this person would give me something. You hear the airplanes? The airplanes are always killing my vibes, people. But whatever. Hopefully, it's not too loud. Yeah, so I just got really upset that they would give me something that I wouldn't actually really like, or that I didn't actually really want. It was more so them and their interests, and them wanting me to kind of, I don't know, explore that more with them because they're more interested in that. And I was just like, how dare you try to impose upon me your stuff? Like, it's kind of like, hey, if you're into Star Wars stuff, like that's your jam. I'm not really interested in watching the movies, dressing up, playing any kind of games. That's your thing. And it's like you're trying to give me, like, I don't know, like a week long Star Wars vacation thing in some place. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm not even interested. Why did you think I would enjoy this? Kind of thing. So it was just really interesting how they offered to do this. And I was like, adamantly like, no, you will not make me do this. And I don't want to do this. And then I just kind of kept being exposed to these things. And eventually I found something that I felt called to, and I just went willingly, you know? So I ended up booking a couple of Aya ceremonies in December. And that was an interesting experience. The first time I did the Aya stuff, so I don't know, maybe I'm all over the place. Maybe I should have kind of explained a little bit of what Aya is. I'm not an expert, okay, as we have established. This is not my jam. So If this is not an exact definition, please forgive me. There is Google. Google is your friend, and you can Google it for yourself. But for me, ayahuasca is an ancient shamanic practice that really helps people with their spiritual and emotional healing and maybe even physical healing. And it's basically a beverage that you ingest, so you drink it. And this beverage is made from the ayahuasca vine, and it's made from these leaves. What's it called? I don't know. It's some word with a C. Chukrumi? Something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, and so they make this beverage from these two things, these two plants. They boil it over a long period of time, and it becomes this liquidy, dark, chocolate looking drink, but it's not chocolate. Probably darker than chocolate. I don't know. The color can vary, I guess, a little bit from like dark brown to like maybe black or something. I don't know. And it has all kinds of flavors. It's not delicious in the slightest. And it helps you to process things depending on your intention. Okay. And the first time I did it, I went with the intention of just being open to the experience. I just wanted to see what the medicine wanted to show me, wanted to have me experience. I just was like, hey, I'm doing my best to surrender to you in this process because I know that it's not a pleasant process. Like, people don't do ayahuasca and they're just sitting there like blissful that entire time. Like, it's just not that way. Um, I guess, at least for the people that I've spoken to, you know? And I have spoken to people that have had beautiful experiences, but like it can be intense. So I don't want to put any negativity there. Everyone's experience is their own, but it's not necessarily like a comfortable experience in general. And I was just really open to whatever needed to be and whatever I was meant to experience. You know, I didn't go in there with the intention of seeing images or animals or traveling astrally in any kind of way. I was just like, whatever needs to be is what it's, needs to be. And I'm just going to try my best to be humble and submit myself to whatever it is you want to show me, and to just have really great respect for the medicine. Um, and I took the first cup, and initially it didn't taste that bad to me. I was like, oh, this is not as bad as people make it out to be. Because I was just new to everything. It was my first time. So just drank it. And I'm laying there, I don't remember. It was a group of us in this house in Surco here in Lima. And the guy who was organizing this, he had his maestro, his Shipibo teacher, maestro, that, he was like an apprentice for, had been working with for years and stuff, and some other apprentices that were there accompanying the maestro during this. And it was like a group of 20 of us in this house in Surco. And so, yeah, so everyone starts, taking the medicine. And because it's so many of us, it takes a while to have everyone come up to the maestro, set their intention, receive a blessing or whatever from the maestro, and then drink their cup. And so by the time they finally get to me, I think one of the guys, the first guy who had taken the medicine, he was already like throwing up, like a lot. And I was like, oh Lord, I don't know what I'm in for, but I'm here, I'm committed, and I'm going to do my best to just trust in the process. And as you may have gathered, I think I shared in my video on Cambo, like, I had a big fear of vomiting. But I really also just wanted to just surrender and just be like, whatever's meant to be is going to be. Maybe I'll vomit with taking this medicine, and maybe I won't. I don't know. But I'm just going to allow God, Spirit, the universe take the wheel over here. And I took the cup. I sat down in my spot again, and just kind of let it go and like move through me. And I don't know how long it took. I think it was maybe 45 minutes to like 60 minutes in. I was fine, literally fine. And everyone else around me was like struggling. Not struggling, it just everyone was going through crap. They were vomiting. It was intense. And I was just there like, is this gonna hit me at any point? I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I'm just chilling. And then the facilitator, the guy whose post I originally connected with on Instagram, he, comes by and he's like, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you feeling all right? Do you want another cup? And because I literally wasn't really feeling anything, I was like, yeah, sure. Um, so I went and I got another cup. And then that time, when I got the second cup, that was gross. Like I could feel the nastiness. Like I don't know, it just really shocked me because I was like, oh, how come it didn't taste nasty before and now it feels disgusting? Like I was yeah, I was just trying my best to just, you know, swallow the medicine and just move on because it was gross. And I went back to my spot. And again, this was like 8 months ago. So my memory's kind of blurry. I don't remember if prior to taking the second cup, I was having these experiences that I'm about to detail now, or if it was after drinking the second cup. But during the ceremony, I just remember my mind felt really scattered, really, really scattered. And I just kept, I don't know, like my mind was everywhere. It was like focusing on what the Shipibo maestro was singing, the people were singing, because they were singing Icaros, and Icaros are like plant medicine songs. I'm not an expert, but it's this song sung in the Shipibo language. Hopefully that airplane isn't too loud. Damn airplanes. Um, but yeah, it's meant to. This is, we gotta have like a whole video in which I interview a Shipibo master sometime in the future and kind of ask them to describe more in depth these things. But I don't know any Shipibo maestros yet, so someday. But basically, the maestros, the teachers, they work with certain plant spirits. Every plant spirit has a different energy, a different purpose behind it, and these plant spirits kind of teach the maestros like a kind of song to sing to kind of invoke their energy. And so that energy can be present during ceremonies to help people with specific things. This is my understanding of an Icaro. I could be wrong. so, so yeah, so they were singing Icaros, and sometimes I would get distracted and like listen to the Icaro and then like start trying to sing the Icaro with them, even though I didn't even know what they were saying. But it's like something in me was just pulling me to just go and like mumble along whatever they were singing. I was just singing with them in my mind or like to myself quietly. And then I would be like distracted over like what people over there were like talking about, because the Shipibo maestros apprentices, they would go around and support people as needed, especially because it was a big group. So some of them were out and about with different people, helping them talk through things, work through things, lending them whatever support that they needed. And so then I would hear them over here like having a conversation and I'm like listening over here, and then I'm like over there in that conversation, and then I'm like thinking about random things, and my mind was so freaking scattered everywhere. And I swear, I think the Shipibo maestro, he must have like seen that there was a lot of like scattered energy or something, and he probably called on some kind of energy to like help ground all of that scatteredness. um because then afterwards, like I started being like, focus, you're not here to be all up in everyone's businesses, you're here for yourself and your own experience, and like focus on that. Like, what is your intention? Your intention is to connect with the medicine and like let the medicine show you whatever it is that you need, whatever it is that you're here to experience. And so yeah, so I would like try to bring myself back to my intention. And I remember that in that first experience, I did get like a lot of little images, and I believe it was in that first experience that I saw like this being, and it looked really interesting. I saw it was a female. Don't ask me how I know. I just know it was a female energy. Um, and she was interesting. I think I don't remember exactly like her face. She was an animal. I don't know if it was a goat or a snake anymore because this has been months now at this point. But some kind of animal that had also like these horns, kind of like a ram in a way, but then it had like reptile skin. It was interesting. I think I'm starting to remember her face. It wasn't a goat face, it was a weird kind of serpent face, but with horns. And she just kind of like looked at me curiously and like smiled and like disappeared. And I was like, oh, did I really see that? Am I making crap up in my mind? You know, it was interesting because I have never ever in my life really touched any kinds of illegal substances, psychedelics, none of that stuff. I've been such a goody two shoes in that front, and yeah, that was interesting. And then I did see like little images, like the patterns that you see in the traditional clothing of the jungle people, the Amazon, the stuff that represents Aya. Like I saw those images pop up in my mind's eye. Damn those planes! They're always so loud. Anyway, um, so yeah, so different things would pop up. My mind was scattered. Eventually, it calmed down. I saw this reptile like horn like creature, and and yeah, I just that was like the gist of my experience, and all of this stuff really came on for me after the second cup that I took. And I was just laying there wondering, like, am I gonna throw up? When am I gonna throw up? When is it gonna happen? um, but nothing really happened for me. And I think it was in that instance, in that first session or ceremony, that there was one point I was sitting down with my back against the wall, and I felt my hands and my feet, they were like shaking, like, but like, how you can see this in the video, it was like faster than this. Like it felt like it was moving at, like, I don't know, the fastest speed imaginable. Like it was like and I was just like sick to my stomach, laying there feeling everything shake violently in my hands and my feet, feeling like all this crazy energy there. And I was like, whoa, what is happening to me? um so that was really interesting, and that's all I kind of remember about that first ceremony. And then around like 6 in the morning or whatever, people started getting up to leave the next day, because you do it from one night to the next. So we started at like 9, 10 o'clock at night the night before, and then we left at like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning the next day. I think we left closer to 7 or something. And I never threw up, and I got up and out of there, even though I just wanted to lay there, but I knew we had to all leave like soon. But I really just wanted to lay there because I felt really sick towards the end. I felt really, really, really bad. Um, but I was like, I need to get up and out of here, because a lot of the people that attended that first ceremony, especially, were like experienced ayahuasca drinkers. And these are people that came prepared to the ceremony with their ceremonial tobacco. And they were like smoking all night long. And I don't smoke. I hate smoking. I hate it. And they literally were driving me insane all night long with the smoking. I'm trying not to swear. And then at some point, when everyone kind of fell asleep around maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, whenever people kind of started falling asleep because they had purged enough or whatever, I finally got some respite. And I was like, finally, these people are asleep and they can't smoke. But once they woke up again at like 5, 6 in the morning, they went right back at it and started smoking. And I was like, oh no, I gotta get out of here. Like the smell of this sacred tobacco has me sick. I think I have PTSD. I need to get up out of here. So I left, and it was the craziest thing. I think it was in that first ceremony that when I was on my way back to my house, in the taxi, I felt like I was moving through different forms of time. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I felt like my body was vibrating so slowly, but the car was taking me so fast, and it was like this conflict of energies where it's like I feel slow, but this thing is trying to pull me forward. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just a weird feeling, and that's the best I can do to help you kind of understand what I'm going through and when I talk about this. And and yeah, I just was like, oh Lord, like I don't want to throw up in this car. Lord have mercy. I'm just gonna close my eyes the whole way, because if I open my eyes and see this, all the stuff that we're driving past as we're in this taxi, I think it's going to make me so sick, because it's going to be too much stimulation, and it's just going to make me sick, and I'm going to throw up. So I literally had to be in the taxi with my eyes closed. And then once I got home, probably like around 8 in the morning, I immediately crawled into bed, and I knocked out till like noon, because I came back home feeling so sick, so nauseated. I just felt like complete crap. Um, and it was a very horrible experience to feel that way, And it really reminded me a lot of, that first time back in 2016 when I did that Yurema stuff. I also had a really negatively intense experience then. So if you want that story, let me know in the comments down below, like this video. So I know that there's interest. But yeah, once I woke up at noon, I got up, I took a shower, and I felt so much better, and I just slept it off. But it was really, really intense. And yeah, that was my first ceremony. And at this point, I see that I've been recording for 37 minutes, so I'm like, oh, should I tell my part two? My second ceremony? It's been, you know, 37 minutes of people's time. I don't know if they want to watch this whole thing. I'll try to be quick with the second ceremony. So the following week, I was gonna have the second ceremony, because the Shipibo Maestro was here for just like a week and a half or whatever, and it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday one week, and then like Saturday, Sunday the next week or something like that. And the guy who was organizing the ayahuasca stuff, he recommended that I have my ceremonies one week apart, since it was like my first time and whatever. And so I was debating, that next week, like whether or not to do the second ceremony, because I was going to get my period. And, remember back in 2016 when I did that Yurema experience, I was on my period in that experience. And that shit was rough. So I was like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the second ceremony. First of all, that first one left me wrecked. Secondly, my period is supposed to be coming on, and I ain't finna do that again. So I don't know about this. And, we were getting closer and closer to the dates of the second ceremony, and my period, which usually like shows up on time, was like not showing up anywhere. And I was just like, God, if this period don't show up by the time of the first available dates for these ceremonies, I'm gonna take it as a sign that you want me to do this second ceremony, even though I really don't want to do this, okay? Because that was rough last time. I had the experience, thank you, but no thank you. That was enough for me, the end. But lo and behold, I did not get my period, um, you know, like I was supposed to. And it was the day of the ceremony. My period was still nowhere in sight. So then I was like, okay, I guess this means I have to go. I guess I'm gonna go forth, God, in trust that this is what you want. Cause yeah, I guess that's what it needs to be, and I just gotta have trust and faith in the process. So I went in there, and I really had to like push myself, because it is such an intense experience, and it's crazy when people have these assumptions that ayahuasca is some kind of illegal substance or like recreational thing that you use or psychedelic that's like fun or whatever. Like, it's not. It's really intense. And you naturally don't want to do this, especially after you've had a session. You only really push yourself to have these ceremonies when you feel called to, you feel a strong calling, or when you feel like it's absolutely necessary and your desire to work through some stuff is strong enough to push through the discomfort you know you're going to go through. You know, like you're willing to be brave enough in that moment because you know like this is the right step for you right now at this time, you know? And so anyway, so I go to the ceremony and I don't have any footage because I was thinking of, you know, documenting some stuff, but I was like, I don't know these people here and I don't want to document them, you know, for the sake of their privacy. And this is like a very vulnerable experience. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel right documenting that without their consent, without their permission. And I didn't know these people and I didn't want to possibly do anything wrong, you know, before everything started. Um, I just wanted to go in there really respectful and just have my experience, and that's it. So, anyway, so I go to the second ceremony. This time I went with the intention to work through some relationship stuff that me and my partner were going through. And, you know, it was just that was my intention for that. And that second ceremony, I had one drink, one serving of the ayahuasca. I didn't have two like in the first ceremony. Because in the first ceremony, since the aya was like really, really strong, they gave me like this much or something. And then in the second drink, I don't know, they probably gave me like a little bit more or something like that. And then in this second ceremony, they gave me like a little bit more. So if they gave me like this much in the original ceremony, they probably gave me like that much in the second ceremony because it was really strong stuff. And that was all I needed. I was like, if they offer me a second cup, I am not gonna have that because it was already disgusting the last time when I took two cups. So I was just going. You gotta love, you gotta love Lima noises, Lima music, the loud motorcycle that just went down my street. But anyway, so yeah, so I had the one cup. It was intense, and I was just trying my best not to be afraid and to just be accepting of whatever I was meant to experience. Because even though it's uncomfortable, like based on my beliefs, I just felt like if God delayed my period, because I have seen God work in my life in so many different ways. And I know that when God wants something, it happens. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. And if my period didn't freaking show up, it's because I was meant to be there and I had to really be brave and push through and let whatever needed to happen happen. And so I had the ceremony and it was totally different from my first ceremony because in the first one I did see a lot of visions, I did see a lot of things, you know, the little creature or whatever. And my brain was very scattered. This time, my brain wasn't scattered at all, and I didn't see any visions at all. Like, I didn't see anything whatsoever. And instead, oh, I did see very briefly for like I don't know, like a split second, maybe quickly, like a spider. But it's almost as if like the spider, like if you see the screen, you know, like instead of having like a spider displayed here in the middle of the screen or whatever, it was almost like this part. Like I saw like it's like butt, like its butt, and like back legs like leaving the screen of my mind, if that makes sense. And I was like, what? Did I just see a spider? You know? So I was just like really confused and stuff because I wasn't sure if I was seeing a spider or not, if I had seen anything or not. And and then after that, I just for like an hour or something, I started repeating affirmations and like I heard like a voice in my head give me some kind of affirmation, some kind of thing to say, and then I would just like repeat that on autopilot in my mind, you know, until I was given another one. And then like several different affirmations were given to me to repeat for like an hour. I was just sitting there repeating these things. And afterwards, in retrospect, I feel like the spirit animal of spider was showing up for me to help me rewire or like reweave certain thought patterns of mine that needed to be adjusted. So I just feel like that's what it was there for. And then I had two really interesting experiences where I felt like I was going to throw up. And I could feel, and I don't know how to explain this in a way that can make people understand. I don't think most people have had this experience. Um, and I don't know what a Kundalini awakening or whatever is, you know, where it's supposedly the Kundalini energy comes up, if you know anything about that. Like, I've never had one of those experiences myself, but I guess that is what I'm trying to communicate in this way, is what I was feeling. I felt this surge of energy come up from my feet, and it was like making its way up my body. And I was like, oh my God, I am finally about to throw up for the first time in my life in like 30 years or something. And I'm about to throw up. And I decided to mistakenly call upon Archangel Michael to give me courage and strength to face my fear of throwing up and to be able to do this. And as soon as I called on Archangel Michael, it was gone. The sensation was gone. It was like a fire was starting to, you know, form, and all of a sudden I poured water on that ish. And I was like, no, what happened? And yeah, I made that mistake of calling on a different energy. I have learned since then through other people that when you're working with these medicines, it's best to call upon that unique medicine. So if you're doing cacao ceremonies, you call specifically on, you know, the energy, the entity of cacao. If it's kambo, you call on the kambo. If it's ayahuasca, you call on aya. So you live and you learn. And yeah, basically, I, you know, didn't throw up in that time. So whatever, I just laid there. I was in a lot of pain. I was struggling. I didn't have those violent shakes like the first time. And then at some point later on, after like an hour or so, because I was just laying there, like whatever. Luckily, there was not that much tobacco smoke. This time, most of the people weren't like avid smokers. So I was like, oh, thank you, God, because that was like my biggest fear, more than I think the Aya. It was like Aya and the smoke. I was like, I think I'm more afraid of that damn smoke than I am the Aya. But the second ceremony, there weren't really smokers, so thank God for that. And I was just laying there in pain. And so after that one failed attempt to maybe throw up or whatever, I was just laying there for maybe like an hour, when all of a sudden I felt the surge of energy again, like come through my body. And I was like, oh, this is it. I feel it. And I had my bucket right next to me. So I was like, okay, when it happens, I'm going to throw up in this bucket. And, you know, it came up and I got up and I was like, trying to throw up. And I was like, I was really trying to throw up and nothing was coming out. And I was like, Lord have mercy. Why can't I throw up? And, oh, I forgot to mention, sorry. See, this is why, whatever. I'm telling my story as I remember it. I remember that in the first ceremony that I had, I yawned a lot, because one of my ways of releasing energy is through yawning. I yawn, and my yawn sometimes creates like tears. Like, I'll have tears running down my eyes from this yawning, but that's me releasing energy. So the first ceremony that I had, I was yawning all night long. Literally, everyone was just like, damn, girl, are you ever going to stop? That's probably what they were thinking. Just like I was wondering when they were going to stop smoking. Because I was just like, oh, like just yawning all night long that first ceremony. And I couldn't help it. It was just something that my body was doing. I'm really good, I feel, with letting my body do its thing, except for maybe vomiting. That's where like I unconsciously get back in the driver's seat. I'm like, no. But I'm learning to let go and trust and allow my body to do whatever it has to do. So So yeah, in that second ceremony, I don't think I yawned as much. I don't remember that. But anyway, so I feel the surge come up through my body. I'm getting ready to throw up. I like lean over. I'm laying down, but I'm leaning over because I literally don't have the energy and the strength anymore to really like pick myself up, and like I was just like whatever. And I'm trying to throw up, nothing. Nothing. And I was just like, what in the world? So anyway, I lay there until it's time to leave, feeling like crap. And yeah, this time I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get home as soon as possible. So I leave early, like I don't know, 6 in the morning or something, and to beat traffic early in the morning. Because the last time I left later, I think I left like around 7 o'clock, and I had to deal with like 7 to 8 o'clock traffic, and it was intense because I could hear the cars and the noise and whatever. So I was like, no, this time I got to leave earlier, 6 o'clock, so I can deal with like early morning traffic, and the streets are pretty much empty. So I came back to the house, laid down, and yeah, my partner went to sleep, and I still felt like crap. So I didn't want to get in bed with them because I felt like crap and they were just like resting. So I just laid out on the couch in the living room, and I was just trying to let go of whatever was I was feeling. And then I was wide awake, so I just got on TikTok, and after watching a few videos, it was the craziest thing. But I watched, I don't know, maybe like 6 short videos. I wasn't on the phone for very long. And let's just say half of those videos were like positive videos, half of them were negative. And when I would come across something that was like negative, it felt heavy on my body. I felt sick. And I could easily watch the happy ones, no problems, of like little animals or whatever. It was no problem. But once I got to those like heavier, denser, negative type videos, I just felt really sick. And I just was like, I can't be on the phone. I feel horrible. And I got off the phone, and it just really made me realize, that these substances are really meant to expand your awareness and expand your sensitivity. And that's why you take in so much energy in a way where I don't know how to describe it, but you can just feel things that you don't normally feel, if that makes sense. Like in our normal day to day, most of us don't really feel heavy or lighter energies from the videos, the things that we watch, movies or whatever. We don't normally feel that. Um, and I guess maybe that's because we're exposed to just so much. It's just so much already that we just kind of like brush past it, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. And when we take these things, these substances, it like slows things down in a way where we can really truly take in all of this mass and like sensory information that we're being exposed to, and we're more sensitive to the energy behind it. I don't know, this is my theory. What are your theories? Let me know in the comments below. But this is my theory. And so anyway, if you're still watching this video, I love and appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I've been talking for over 50 minutes. I'm trying to wrap this up. Um, so yeah, um, I got off the phone, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a shower. Maybe I'll feel better after that. I went, I took a shower. I still felt horrible. And then I was like whimpering. I was laying on the couch whimpering as loud as I could too, hoping that my partner would hear me and come and get me and pick me up, because I just literally felt too sick to even stand up. But they didn't hear me because they were fast asleep, and I was like, fuck it, I have to try to get every ounce of strength that I have left to pick my butt up off this couch and go to the bedroom and go and lay in this bed. And then I did that, and I went into the bed, and I got into the bed, and I'm laying there just feeling really sorry for myself, really shitty, because I literally physically felt bad. And then all of a sudden, like, these thoughts started coming in my brain, you know, reminding me of stuff from my childhood, how I had been, abused and treated badly. And I don't know, I wasn't loved, I felt unloved and cared for, whatever it was, you know, it was three specific thoughts that came into my mind. And every time they popped in my mind, I started sobbing, sobbing, bawling my eyes out, crying it out. And once I finished crying that out, you know, the next thought came up and I would sob and sob and sob and sob. And then the next thought, and it was three of them that I had to like really cry out and purge. And all the while, my partner's just hugging me and just holding me, you know, as I'm like purging and releasing all of this stuff. Um, and then by the time I finished purging and releasing the last memory, I guess, that popped in my head, um, I was calm and I was ready to just sleep. And then I fell asleep till like noon. And I fell asleep probably like around 10:30ish or something, because all of that shower and the crying and whatever happened between like 8 o'clock to like 10 something. So yeah, so I fell asleep, and then when I woke up I was much better. But that's how I release. So if there's anything that my experiences have taught me from, you know, these two Aya experiences in December 2023 plus the Yurema experience in 2016, is that if you're unable to release via vomiting or via, you know, pooping, you have to release in some kind of way. And until you release that, you're probably going to feel like crap. And that's been my experience, at least. And you know, everyone in both opportunities, both of those ceremonies that I went to, I think everyone was pretty stable, pretty good to go by the morning, because I think everyone purged, everyone threw up except for me. And I was the one that felt horrible every morning when it was time to leave, because I hadn't been able to purge yet. Um, and the first time, the first ceremony that I had, um, I'm actually being reminded of this right now, is that when I got up to leave the next day after that first ceremony, I felt kind of like drugged in a way. Like I don't know, I just felt so bad. I was barely able to like stand and just get my butt in the car. I felt like a zombie. I felt horrible. Um, and that's because I wasn't able to release throughout the whole night. And when I went home, I went straight to sleep that first ceremony. And 4 hours later, I woke up and I was okay. Um, you know, that was that experience. And then the second one, I had to cry it out a bunch, you know, and then I had some sleep and I felt okay. But I felt like crap in the morning, and most people feel good by the time the morning rolls around, but not me. That hasn't been my case yet. So I'm looking forward to the day when I can purge and I can feel great the next morning. Like, yeah, that was intense, but I feel great this morning. I feel lighter. I'm looking forward to that day, but we're not there yet. So, yeah, those were my experiences. Very powerful, very different experiences. I don't see myself doing Aya anytime in the near future. It was very intense, and I feel like I'm just a very sensitive person, and these very physical experiences are a lot for me. Um, so yeah. I don't think I'll be doing those anytime soon, unless for whatever reason I just feel really called to. Like lately, I've been feeling kind of more and more called to maybe do another kambo ceremony. Um, oh yeah, there's gonna be an interview on my channel soon where I'm gonna interview Nick, who did my kambo ceremony. He was my facilitator. So yeah, I've been feeling like more called, like maybe it's time to do a kambo ceremony, but not just yet, you know, because again, these things are like very strong for me personally, so I'm not actively seeking them. Like, oh yeah, I got to do this. Like, no, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, but I feel like the time is coming soon. So yeah, those are my stories. I really hope that you found them interesting or valuable, and maybe they helped you with your own decisions to uh, try these things out. I also have an interview that I did with Heather, who also started out as my follower on my channel and has since become my friend, and we keep in touch every now and then. And as I'm recording this video, actually, Heather's back in Lima, so I'm going to meet up with Heather soon. And yeah, Heather has done Aya ceremonies, and I interviewed her a while back. So I will be posting that video soon as well for you guys to just hear Heather's perspective and take on the value of doing these kinds of things, because there's a lot of value. And I think that if traditional ways of healing or addressing your pain and trauma have not really done it for you, then maybe this is a good um, alternative, or something that you can try to see if maybe it works better for you and helps you. You know, different tools work for different people, and I'm just here to share my experience and this resource for whoever feels called to it. So, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really hope that you enjoyed this video today, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. And yeah, thank you so much for 6,000 subscribers. My channel has been growing quietly behind the scenes while I've been away, and I'm just so grateful for everyone's support. And I'm working on lots of different things to bring to you guys moving forward. Oh, also, I created a TikTok. Um, you can hear the sirens in the background. It's very symbolic because I think when we think of sirens, we think of like danger, something's happening. Uh, So yeah, sirens, here we go. This is what I have to deal with in Lima. But yeah, I finally decided to create a TikTok. I really didn't want to for so many reasons. I don't know if it's being an Aquarius and being a fixed sign, and sometimes I can be kind of stubborn in ways that don't serve me. But I just, like I said, I wouldn't really be on the internet if I didn't need to. And I wouldn't really have more social media things out there. I don't need to, because it is a lot to manage. It is a lot to try to show up for. But I felt like God gave me an insight the other day of why it was valuable and important for me to create a TikTok. And I was like, okay, I hear you, God, but like I still don't want to. And then eventually, I got directed to kind of work on my mindset and stuff around visibility and fears and things like that, which is what I talked about at the very beginning of this video. And I started addressing those things and um, working through a lot of stuff to really feel comfortable with creating a TikTok for this account, and feeling comfortable with the responsibility of creating content for that social media channel as well. In addition to this, because if you've been following me for a while, you know that it's been a journey doing my best to show up for this account and create content. And now adding TikTok to the mix, like my mind has to still wrap its mind around the fact that like I can do this, I can keep up with all of this. It's not that hard. It's not as hard as my mind is making it out to be. And to just not be afraid of whatever exposure I can get through TikTok, because I have gone viral several times in the past with my other account, and I've seen the pros and cons of virality. And I'm just, yeah, I've just been on a journey of preparing myself for, you know, being here and being on TikTok. And so if you want to follow me on TikTok, you can follow me as Stef's Peru Travel Tips there. I will drop the link down below in the description of this video. And or you can look me up as Stef's Peru Travel Tips. And yeah, I'm working on creating content for TikTok and this channel, and just very excited. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your support. If you have questions, uh, I don't know, things I can create content around or whatever, please let me know. I do take notes. I add them to my little notes in my phone of things that people are asking me for. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get around to doing that at some point. So I will do this. Um, just be patient because I'm trying to just stick with one YouTube video a week and a few TikTok videos a week, and you know, trying to be no, I'm being consistent with that. So yeah. So that's all I have for you today. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.